Yo, what's up, everyone? It's Rudy from Drinks and a Movie Podcast, and today I'm finally going to do it. We're going to blind taste Buffalo Trace Mash Bill 2 to see which one is the best. So for those of you who may not be familiar, these are four of the expressions of the Buffalo Trace Mash Bill 2, which is their high rye mash bill. So still bourbon, just high rye. I don't know what the contents are. If I remember correctly, they're undisclosed. But yeah, we've got these four, all pretty popular and pretty famous, Blanton's especially. Historically, Rock Hill Farm has been my favorite by far. Hancock Reserve I have not tried before, so this will be a first for me. But yeah, I finally managed to get all of them, so we're breaking seals and we're going to try them out side by side. So we got Hancock Reserve coming in at, I believe, 88.9 proof. Okay, we got Elmer T coming in at 90 proof. Blanton's, this is actually a store pick from Circus Liquor. This one's coming in 93 proof, roughly 6 years old. And then Rock Hill Farm coming in at 100 proof. So let's go and try them out, and I'm very curious to see how different they're all going to be, if they're all going to be mostly the same, or if there's going to be a lot of variance. So let's see. So this first one's a little muted on the nose. Definitely on the sweeter end though. Like, I feel like there's a strong, like, not strong, but like a muted vanilla note, you know? It's kind of hard to pick up anything out of this one. It's very subdued. Well, let's go for it. This is glass number one. We go in for sip number two. It's interesting. As soon as it hits the tongue, it comes at me with some flavor. Definitely that vanilla. And then you get some of that rice spice coming out into the mid palate. It starts to remind me of like an old Grandad Bonded, like very similar to that. I was actually drinking one earlier. And that's also a high rye mash bill, but coming out of Jim Beam. So it reminds me of that. But then on both sips, it then went into this weird, almost kind of bitter, dark flavor. I can't really put my finger on what it is. The best way I can describe it is like dark and bitter. I'm not quite sure what that is though. So I don't know, that one's okay. I feel like it started off promising right when I took it in, and then it kind of took a weird direction with that bitter taste. So here's glass number two. So this one's sweeter on the nose. It's very similar, but less muted. Definitely get that vanilla, like classic vanilla caramel. Not a lot of the spice coming through on the nose. Yeah, kind of basic. Well, a little bit of an oak presence coming out. Like it's maybe a little more aged, but which I'm not sure. I know these are roughly 6 years old. I should have done some research. I don't know what the age range is for the other three. If that's even out there. I'm sure there's some information. They're not age stated, but yeah, I don't know. Here we go, glass number two. I do like this one more so far. It's definitely more on the spice side. It's still nice and easy, really easy sipper, but the finish is much longer. I still feel it kind of sparking the tongue. Even though I've already swallowed it, I'm still getting that spice, a lot of pepper, and like some caramel. Now in the second sip, I'm getting that kind of weird bitter taste again. This seems like it might have a little more proof on it. At the very least, it has more spice. It definitely finishes longer. You know, it's kind of warming me a little bit. I like the kind of spice notes and the way it lingers, but it's weird on the back palate. It's still that kind of bitter taste. Not as aggressive, but it's definitely there. Yeah, so I'll put that one in front. I do dig that one more than glass one. So let's go to glass three now. Again, very similar on the nose, like I would imagine. This one has more of a sweet oak coming out, though. That's reminding me of something a little more aged. About an hour ago, I was drinking Old Grandad 16, which is 16-year-old high rye mash bill out of Jim Beam. In this, it's not as strong with that oak presence, but it reminds me of that. It smells like it's a little bit older, while maintaining the same kind of vanilla characteristic of the first two. There we go. That one's definitely a lot lighter on the palate. Again, flavors very similar, but this one's a little, just a little more watery. Again, the same but lighter. Way muted, a lot thinner as far as the texture goes than the first two. So I'll put that in third. So right now, my first place is glass two, second is glass one, third is glass three. So here's glass four now. And so far, I gotta say, I mean, for all of these being allocated and hard to find, and it's like damn near impossible to find them for their like real price. They're always upcharged an obscene amount. None of them so far are like knocking my socks off, that's for sure. This one, as far as the nose goes, reminds me a lot of Glass. Well, I don't know anymore. I kind of lost it. I was gonna say it reminded me of that kind of oaky aroma again, but now I'm kind of losing it. This one seems even more muted. Well, let's just go in for the taste. That's interesting. So that kind of plays in a weird middle zone where it has a weird watery texture, but it did have more spice at the same time, and then kind of fell really thin and watery, and then a little bit of the sweet flavor kind of came out, like that hint, tiniest little hint of like caramel vanilla on the back end. Finish is really short. Yeah, let's go in for sip number 2. That was weird, just texturally, like the flavor, but having a kind of watery vibe was weird. Man, yeah, I'm not sure where to place that one. It's a little off-putting, to be honest. I think as of now, I'll put that ahead of Glass 3. So as far as a ranking goes, Glass 2 is in first, Glass 1 is in second, Glass 4 is in third, and then Glass 3 is in fourth. I gotta put letters on these from now on. I just need someone to help me pour them. So I'm gonna take a quick little break and then I'll run through them again. That's really interesting. That's way better the second time around. Get a little bit of a brown sugary note, not too sweet, very subtle, still with the spice. It feels like it came in a little more hot. And it lost that watery texture that it had. I mean, I only took a break for maybe about 5 minutes. It wasn't too long, so I don't know if it opened up more or what. I mean, 3 of these are fresh cracked, so I don't know. Yeah, significantly better the second time around. So that might move up. Let's go to Glass 3 now, which I had in last. Similar, yeah, it's funny. It's as you would think, right? Very similar flavor. This is definitely reminding me a little bit of an Old Grande. I feel like that got better too, but it definitely isn't better than Glass 4 that I have in third. So I'll keep that up there. Yeah, better. Still just a little too on the light side. So Glass 2 is what I had ranked number 1. That's a good one. That's the best one. That one packs a lot more depth of flavor and richness, but without coming across really hot. Yeah, that stays in number 1. Let's see where Glass 1 ends up. I'm gonna switch that in Glass 4. So I think I'm gonna put 4 now in second place and 1 in third place. Just didn't have the same, I don't know, good flavor. It's all right. Again, they're all pretty similar. We're talking like pretty subtle differences here, but let me try 4 again. Yeah, it just has a little more spice. It's a little brighter. I think I'm gonna keep that there. Yeah, so this will be the ranking. So Glass 3 is in last place. Let's go ahead, let me, Blanton's. So Blanton's is in that 4th spot. Okay. Third, let's see what this was, which was almost second. Elmer T. Oh yeah, that last sip I didn't really care for. Okay. Second place, which was Glass 4. Hancock Reserve. Interesting. Huh. Yeah, first time I've had this one. I've had these other 3 before, but not this one. So then first place, I mean, obviously, but let's check. Rock Hill Farm, which, yeah, cool. I mean, that stands the reason. Again, for me personally, like historically, I've always found that Rock Hill Farm was by far, of these ones that I've had many times, I've always felt this one was by far the best. Elmer T. I know it's a very popular one, but every time I've tried it, it just never really worked for me. There's just something about it I never really cared for. But I wanted to get it and try it and, like, you know, see what's up and try it with the lineup. And I mean, in this case, like, it was almost second place. Like, Hancock and this just kind of switched at the end, which is interesting. For me, it's a little surprising with this being the lowest proof. I would have thought that this may have been the more watery, lighter one. I guess that's not too far away from the 90 proof of Elmer, but it'll be interesting. I already forgot which one of these was the one that I said had that weird water-y texture. Like, the flavor was there, but the texture was off and just very thin. I don't remember which of these it was. Rock Hill Farm is a banger. This one is always super expensive. I managed to get this because Danny over at Canyon City Liquor in Azusa hooked me up. So thanks, Danny. Shout out for, you know, helping me get this. This was like one I've been trying to hunt for a long time. So I'm happy to finally have it, and happy that it, ended up in the first place spot. So, yeah, that's Buffalo Trace Mash Bill number 2 for you. Leave a comment. Let me know which one of these is your favorite. I'd be curious to know everyone's thoughts and, where they fall, which one they like the most. And, yeah, anyway, that's a wrap on this one. Cheers.